Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the More Than Skill podcast. Thanks so much for joining me here today. On today's show, we are talking about the myth of natural talent and why mindset wins, why we're choosing mindset over talent any day of the week. Before we dive into that, I have a cool little mental strategy tidbit for you today. It is actually a meditation, it's a recorded meditation that you can listen to. It's from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's actually a walking meditation. So, unlike most where you have to sit very still and close your eyes and really try to focus and concentrate, this one you do while you're walking. I've been using it, kind of helps you like shed your old self and habits and step into a new you. It's only 15 minutes long, but it's super powerful. So, I thought it would be great to share. Now, what we're talking about today, mindset over talent. Any day of the week and twice on Tuesday, I only wanted to work with the highest level athletes when I first started coaching. I wanted to work with older athletes. I wanted to work with the most talented. Even when I was in the infancy of my coaching career, I just thought that they would bring me the most success. And it makes the most sense, right? They aren't just there to have fun. They've been playing the sport for forever. They're the hardest working. They take very little effort to coach because they're already good at it, right? So, PSA to all my younger coaches that are listening, if you're coaching just for the glory, you're in it for the wrong reasons. If you're coaching for the accolades and for the wins and to have your name associated with the biggest names in the sport, it's kind of for the wrong reason. And that was me at first. I only wanted to be associated with teams that won and that won frequently. I wanted to have fun while I coached and not actually teach skills because all of these talented athletes already had the skills and they took very little coaching, they took very little effort. But what I realized was what happens when these kids don't win? What happens when they can't compete the way that they practice? What happens when they can't handle the pressure or bounce back from mistakes? It's fear, it's poor performance, it's defeat. It's nothing that I wanted to have on my coaching resume. So I chose to, well, I didn't choose, I guess I was kind of forced, but through my positions as a coach, I went back to the basics and I coached kids that were just there to learn the sport, beginners, little kids that were just being introduced to it. So they had to learn everything from the ground up, every single skill, every single progression. They had to learn from me. And that's where I found the joy in the sport because they found the joy in the sport. I wasn't having to convince athletes why they loved it. I wasn't having to talk them through things. I was just teaching the skills and it was so much more fun. They were so much more open-minded as younger kids. So just remember, like, there's not a single coach in the world who has a graduating senior going off into college that says, I'm most proud of your skills. I'm most proud of what you're able to do physically, all your interceptions or your free throw percentage or your state record in track. Like, they're not the most proud of that. They're the most proud of the person that they've become. They're the most proud of the life skills that they learned throughout the course of their career. You can come in and take any 6-year-old sophomore and add 7 miles per hour to his fastball. Cool, like, great job. But how about working with an athlete since she was 7 who had crippling anxiety and fear of failure and who is now graduating senior, off going off into the world, who's equipped to actually handle that, who, yes, became a great athlete and a leader to her team, but more importantly, she can deal with things. She can make mistakes and bounce back. She can handle anxiety. She has actual tools that you taught her to be able to do these things. That's where the magic is. That's why we teach mental strategy, because the world isn't fair or fun sometimes. It's a big, scary, beautiful place, and we have to equip these athletes with the tools they need to be able to handle it. And coach, that's where you come in. So we're going to talk about some practices that you can do to start working on this type of stuff in your practice, to start setting aside the talent of your athletes and really training the person that they need to be. But before we get into that, I do want to just share with you guys, like, mental strategy is so important. And a lot of people are still not training it, still not coaching it. And it happens, people think that it happens inherently in sport. Like, if you play sport, you become more mentally tough, you become more resilient. You gain confidence through playing sports. And I don't disagree with that, but I do think that these things still need to be trained. I do think these things still need to be trained. So I want to provide some, I guess, proof for everybody that these things really do make a difference. So a study from 2019 found that a brief online growth mindset intervention improved academic performance and stress resilience in adolescents. So this carries over into athletics. Athletes with a growth mindset persist longer, they rebound faster after mistakes, and they're more coachable. Okay. Another study that I found was from the Journal of Sports Psychology that found that a mindfulness based mental training program, which was focused on breath work and attention control, improved focus, emotional regulation, and performance under pressure in competitive athletes. So the mindfulness just helped those athletes stay present, reduce the impact of nerves and mistakes. Another study I have, this is from all the way back in 2001, but this was in the Journal of Sports Psychologists. And this found that athletes who use imagery and visualization regularly perform better in skill execution and reported higher levels of confidence and readiness before games or meets. So basically what all these studies are just saying is like it's proven. We know that mental rehearsal, mental strategy, and all these things that we talk about are going to help your athletes improve their performance. We just have to start implementing it into our practices. And I'll continue to reference a lot of times we hear about these types of things in professional sports. For instance, I was just did a tour of Progressive Field where the Guardians play, and we got to go into the visiting team's clubhouse, which was so cool. And they were telling us that back in the day, there was not a lot of people that traveled with the team. There was only a couple of coaches, and not they were not using all the lockers in the locker room. That's how that story started. But then they were telling us that now there's just a whole staff that travels with these professional baseball teams, physical therapists, trainers, masseuse, even, and also a sports psychologist. So that had me thinking like professional athletes are paying for these services. They're paying for somebody to come in and make sure that, these athletes remain focused and they have the mental tools that they need to be able to perform under the enormous amount of pressure that they have as a professional athlete. But why aren't we doing that with kids? That's where I come in. We have to be able to do these things with children. So let's go ahead and get into, I have a few tips. I want you to start implementing these things into your practice. If you're new to mental strategy, especially, the first thing that you're going to do is you're just going to add a simple breathing routine into your daily practice. You can set a timer for 1 minute and just have your athletes focus on their breath and only their breath. Deep inhale through the nose, long exhale out the mouth. This is going to do a couple of things. It's going to establish focus because you're honing in on the breath only. It's going to slow the heart rate, slows the breath rate. It's better for decision making. It's introducing them to a tool that is at their disposal all the time as they're playing sports. It brings a sense of calm and control into their sports life. Breath work is the most important skill and tool that I use with my own athletes because it's like a utility player. You can use it at any time. You can use it when you're under pressure. You can use it when you're about to start a game. You can use it when you feel yourself spiraling. Just nice deep breaths. Just bring back the control. So do that. Second thing you're going to do is you're just going to make sure that you're opening up a line of communication between yourself and your players. Can your players talk to you? Are you somebody that they feel comfortable approaching? The way you do this is you just simply care. You care about your kids. You ask them about their day. You notice a new haircut. You smile. It doesn't take a lot of time. You're going to be doing this maybe when they're warming up or when they first arrive at practice. Just a little bit of banter with them. It takes 30 seconds. Make sure that you let them know that they're able to approach you with anything that's concerning. Maybe they feel like they're not going to be able to perform up to the standard today because of something that's ailing them. Are they able to come to you for that? Are they comfortable communicating that to you? And if they do come up to you and say, hey, coach, I'm having this issue at home right now. I'm just really not feeling my best. How do you talk them through that? Are you somebody that says, well, suck it up, we have work to do? Or are you somebody that says, I'm going to help you because we have work to do. And I want to make sure that you have a successful practice. So let's see how we can work through that together. These are kids. They're not adults. They're not equipped yet to handle these huge problems. Okay. So make sure that you're opening those lines of communication. Third and last step, this is just for introducing some mental tools into your practices, is ask them to start noticing their thoughts. That for me is the baseline for mental strategy. You have to know what you're thinking so that we can assess it, so we can identify patterns, and so we can flip the thoughts. So start by just repeating to them, what are you thinking right now? They're lining up to do a drill. What is your thought process right now? Are you afraid of this drill? Are you going to attack this drill? Are you feeling like you're not going to be successful at it? Like, you have to start bringing awareness to their thoughts and just asking them to have some integrity in that, because maybe they don't want to share their thoughts with you. Maybe they are feeling a little bit fearful or a little bit less confident, and the last thing they want to say to their coach is I'm worried about this, so that's why opening up those lines of communication is so important. But just try to encourage them to not only be aware of their thoughts but also be honest with you and be honest with themselves about what it is they're thinking, so that we can then start to implement all these different mental strategies that start with the mind and the mindset and inside the brain and the self-talk and those types of things. Okay, talent only takes you so far. Mindset training is what is going to take you the furthest. So it's really important to start implementing these things. Number one was breath work. Number two is open those lines of communication. And number three is encourage them to start being aware of their thoughts. We all love working with talented athletes. I still do. I love to come in and see these hardworking athletes where they've just been at it for so long and it's all paying off and it's coming together, and it's easy to coach them because you can say, okay, do A, B, and C, and they don't even blink an eye and they do it. And when they're conditioning, it's like they're conditioning hard because they want it. They want it so bad. That part is really fun. But don't forget that the talent part of them, the athleticism, is only going to take them so far. We have to start filling their toolboxes with these strategies that they can use when things are not going to go their way, because believe me, it's going to happen. We all know we're going to lose more than we're going to win. So these athletes have to be prepared for that. And what's more is this is going to help them in their life. We know that it's going to help them become, better citizens, better people, better husbands, better wives, better parents, those types of things. So find the glory in training the athlete from the ground up. Find the glory in helping these kids overcome some of their mistakes or some of their obstacles or some of their, biggest life events that are inevitably going to affect them. Find the glory in that. Work with the beginners, teach them the skills from the ground up. You're going to feel great about yourself as a coach. You don't always want to work with the super talented athletes. Make sure you make time for the generation that's up and coming. You'll feel so proud of yourself when you have a 5, 6, and 7 year old that you taught everything that they know, including how to be resilient and mentally tough and all that good stuff. Okay, thank you so much for joining me here today. Oh, I forgot. I am also going to link up in the show notes a self-talk assessment. So use this with your athletes. You just have to put in your email address and you will get the self-talk quiz. It's really easy. It takes like 2 minutes. It just asks them a bunch of questions and then kind of show them where they're at, like where their self-talk is at, so you guys together can work through how to try to improve that a little bit. So get that self-talk quiz and also listen to the walking meditation that I will put in the show notes. Leave me a rate and review if you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you next time.